Hello everyone, Yuri Matzo here, and today is an exciting day. Today I am here at Countersteer. It's in Canton, Georgia. We have some 240SXs, Nissan Skyline GTRs, Toyota Supras, and much more. And this is one of the very few places here in Georgia that actually has an all-wheel drive dyno. And why may I be at a dyno? Well, today we're going to be dynoing my Honda Ridgeline, and we're going to find out which one is better, the OEM Airbox or the aftermarket AEM intake. So let's get this started.
To experience all the problems of doing this for the first time. It's like flashing the brake light like crazy and the cluster. I turned traction control off, it does the same thing. I can't see what gear I'm in. I'm about to like listen. I hope. How many speeds is this transmission?
6.
Okay. Most likely the pull's going to be made in 4 of the 5th. So I'll do some experimenting.
Okay.
Sometimes you push the pedal too far, it'll downshift, it won't stay in the gear you want it to, so I don't know, this is going to be hard, it may not work at all. We'll see.
Okay. I guess we'll find out.
You've seen like anything else online?
No, there isn't anything.
Not a single
This
one?
is the first one.
Oh, geez.
This is the world's first.
Some cars you can put in like manual mode and control the automatic transmission like that.
All the buttons, you disable them? Because we have like lane assist and all those things. So I'm wondering if we just turn all these off, and you already have traction control off.
About the that like terrain button or something under the shifter.
So that one only changes it from mud, snow, and that's it. Which actually, if you put it into sand mode, will also disable traction control.
You put it in sand mode?
Yeah, you can see if that'll work.
It was applying the brake while...
So let's try sand and see if that'll make any difference.
Yeah, I'll give it a try.
Okay.
There might be some violent... like, I'm going to have to find out what it likes.
Okay.
So that was just a test.
Okay.
To see what I can make it do. I like to start at 2,500 RPMs and go all the way to Ridgeline. It's not gonna. Right now, it doesn't want to downshift anywhere below 4,000.
It almost looked like you were in third gear right on that pole.
Yeah, and I think it might have downshift too. Who knows? But it wants to downshift. I tried going halfway, all the way. I tried playing with it. So I'm gonna try some more things and see what happens. think I lucked out the first time because it is not very difficult to do. Alright, starting to kind of get the feel for it.
Okay.
You have to, if you're going to start down here under 4,000, partial throttle, like 25%, then push a little harder, then push a little harder, and eventually around 4,000 to 4,500 I'm flooring it. And it looks like AEM intake does make more power. Unless, I don't think it's a different gear, it's too similar in here. So whatever gear this test was in, which I think was third, yeah, it looks like AEM is just moving more air up top. This was an example of what it looks like when it downshifts, everything's wrong.
I could install it back again. I mean, we're still, it's only 9:30, so it's only been an hour.
Yeah,
I was expecting to be here about 2 hours.
Let me try and make another pull like this, and then you can swap back over and try.
Okay.
But if we were to, this is all correct, as much as 23 horsepower.
Wow.
Right there. Maybe. So let me try some more.
That's pretty significant. If this is the case and you get the feel for it, it'd be good to get another similar run to get apples to apples. Because you'll always be in the back of my mind. It's like, but is it really, you know?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right there.
So as you guys can see, the OEM is in red, and the OEM Airbox is making about 10 horsepower less low end and about up to 28 horsepower more at the top end once VTEC kicks in. So that goes to show that the AEM air intake actually does produce quite a bit more power, and their statement is, I believe, 10 horsepower increase. So most people are not going to be going and driving over 5,500 RPMs to get that 28 horsepower. But if you need to pass somebody, definitely going to want to have this AEM Airbox installed when you're doing that, because it'll give you a little bit more.
Alright, that's a graph I'm going to print you of everything. Then I'd like to take this one off so you can kind of see the difference here. And when VTEC kicks in, it's all over.
This is a run of the best OEM and the best AEM graphs. So we actually maxed out power on the OEM at 233 horsepower, and on the AEM it was 255 horsepower.
Peak difference was 22, but outside of peak in other areas, 28 was gained. That's actually the proper curve it should be. If it wasn't for the dip of the VTEC, which I'm sure could be tuned out one day, this is what you want your torque to look like, and this is what you want the horsepower to look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
Cool. Alrighty, so for anybody out there now trying to second guess if the AEM intake actually reduces power and that the heat soak is going to significantly decrease your horsepower, well, now you know that actually that is false. The AEM does produce more horsepower, and if you guys want to add something to your vehicle that's going to give you more horsepower, I would recommend getting that AEM because it is a pretty substantial amount of increase. So we're seeing upwards of 28 horsepower in some areas and an average of about 10 horsepower as AEM suggests that you're going to get.
All right, off she comes. That's very rare when you make more than double what the manufacturer advertises.
I have their chart, so I'm gonna I'll compare their dyno graph with what we actually got.
That's hilarious. Well, and you're making 22 peak, 22 or 23 over the AEM filter dropped in the stock airbox. So imagine what just the stock air filter, well, it could be even more. Like the full AEM intake will make more than stock airbox with stock filter. 25, 30, who knows?
Alrighty, so here's the chart for the dyno jet. The red is going to be OEM and the green is going to be the AEM. So OEM maxed out at 233 horsepower and the AEM maxed out at 255.99 horsepower. Torque, we saw a slight decrease with the OEM being greater at 225.8 and the AEM at 224.92. So not significant drop in torque, but there is a slight drop. Now looking over at the AEM graph that they sent with the box, the air intake, this is for a Honda Pilot, it says, but as you can see here, this graph here is too linear, and so I don't believe that to be accurate because this is when VTEC kicks in, and you can see there's a pretty big dip every time, and then it starts to climb up towards the end of the or higher RPM range. And here on the AEM graph, it's just linear and it continues to climb all the way to 6,000 RPMs, which I am going to say this is false and this is not true, because if it were a VTEC, we would see this big dip every time between around 5 to 5,500 RPMs. So anyways, that's just the results here. And so there looks to be a increase in horsepower at the top end of about 23 horsepower, which is pretty significant, and low end it's about the same. We saw within the test a variation of about up to 10 horsepower difference, but these were the two best charts, and so we're just using these as a comparison. So in the prime of both of those airboxes, it looks like low end you're going to see about the same horsepower rating. As you can see during the climb initially, you see a little bit more and earlier on with the AEM intake than with the OEM intake. So there's a little bit of better throttle response from the AEM, but that's about it. And yeah, that's just extra graphs. But anyways, hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel to see more videos like this. So thank you guys for watching.